Hey there, it's Julie here. I am going to answer a question that I received recently, and that was about the association between certain bacteria found on a GI map test and the presence or development of autoimmune disorders. So, there is actually a section, in case you're not familiar with the GI map test, there is a section on the test with specific bacteria that looks at opportunistic bacteria and viruses actually that are associated with autoimmunity. So basically, there are certain opportunistic bacteria and viruses that can initiate an autoimmune response in the body. And we typically think, when we think of autoimmune disorders that are associated with these pathogens, we're talking about things like thyroiditis, inflammatory arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, those type things. So basically, these bacteria can trigger and or sustain an autoimmune process. And it typically happens when intestinal permeability is present. So intestinal permeability is really the medical term for leaky gut. And we can test for that on a GI map as well by using a zonulin level or adding on a zonulin level. But when leaky gut is present, these specific microorganisms can escape the lumen of the gut and they can infect these other sites within the body. So I'm just going to name a few in case, again, you are familiar with the GI map, and or maybe you just had one recently or you're thinking about having one. There are specific bacteria, again, that we test for that are associated with different autoimmune disorders. So one is called Cytorobacter, and it is specifically associated with rheumatoid arthritis. Another is Fusobacterium. We see that more with inflammatory bowel disease and systemic sclerosis. Klebsiella is another one. And when I see Klebsiella, typically it manifests often in allergic type symptoms. It produces histamine. And so sometimes we'll have, again, allergy type symptoms, sneezing, itchy eyes, runny, watery eyes, maybe dry, itchy skin. And Klebsiella is actually can be associated with Crohn's disease, with ulcerative colitis, and also with psoriatic arthritis, and also with reactive arthritis. The others that we see, there's an organism called Prevotella and Proteus, and both of those are pretty much associated with rheumatoid arthritis. So what does all of that mean? If, let's say, you had a GI map and these bacteria showed up on your test, it does not certainly mean that you have or are going to get one of these autoimmune disorders. It means that, think of it like a risk factor. It's a risk factor for one, or more of these autoimmune disorders that I mentioned. So when I see this, certainly I ask questions about symptoms that the patient has, but in the protocol that I create to really, rebalance and heal and restore the gut and the gut lining, then we will include products that will help to get rid of these organisms so that, again, you're not at risk for these autoimmune disorders. So hopefully that was helpful. I just wanted to explain that. I got that question recently and thought it was a great question. So if you do have other questions, I try to do a tip like this each week, just a really short video. Just DM me or email me, and I'll be happy to answer whatever question you have. Have a great day.